Thanksgiving. A day that's supposed to mean family, warmth, and maybe too much pumpkin pie. But for me, it became the day my entire world cracked in half. The cold bit through my jacket as I pulled into the driveway of the Carter's house, my wife Amanda's childhood home. I was already on edge. We'd had another one of our arguments that morning. She told me not to come, said her dad wasn't feeling well and they were keeping it small this year. Said they'd FaceTime me from the table. But I didn't buy it. Something had been off with Amanda for weeks, maybe months. Her eyes didn't light up anymore when she looked at me. Her phone was never out of her hand. She laughed at things I never said. So I went anyway. I needed to see for myself, to catch a glimpse of whatever she was hiding behind her fake smiles and cold kisses. That's when I saw him. Frank Carter, Amanda's father, the man who once toasted us at our wedding with tears in his eyes, met me at the top of the driveway with a face like stone. "You weren't invited," he growled. "Go home." I stood there frozen. "What are you talking about, Frank? I'm her husband." He stepped closer. "Yeah, well, that didn't seem to matter to her tonight." And that's when I saw them through the big bay window. Amanda, her sister Jenna, their mom, all gathered around the table. Laughter, clinking glasses, turkey, stuffing, the whole cozy picture. And there, sitting right next to my wife, was Nick, her ex-husband. Nick, the man she used to say was a mistake she never wanted to revisit. Now he was carving the turkey while Amanda leaned into him like she'd never left. I just stood there, swallowing the heat rising in my chest. My father-in-law folded his arms. "You should go before things get ugly." I nodded, slowly, didn't say a word, turned back to my truck, got in, started the engine. I sat for a second, staring down at the steering wheel, heart pounding, hands shaking. Then I made one call, to Zach, my best friend, the one person I trusted with my life. I didn't tell him everything, just enough. "Drive to 117 Lakeshore. Bring the camera. We're going to get this on record." 20 minutes later, I was sitting in a gas station parking lot, just 1 block away, waiting. Then my phone lit up. 12 missed calls from Amanda. And then the screaming started. The screaming echoed through the cold night air. It wasn't angry, not yet. It was shocked, panicked, like someone just realized the walls around them weren't as solid as they thought. Amanda's voice rang through the phone, high-pitched and trembling. "Where are you? What did you do?" I didn't answer. I was already driving back toward the house. I needed to see it with my own eyes. What she looked like when the mask fell off. What her lies looked like without the lipstick and charm. Zach had done exactly what I asked. He walked in through the back door like a ghost. Quiet, unnoticed, while I watched through the window of a stranger's soul. He had his camera strapped to his chest and a small mic hidden in his collar. We'd done wedding shoots like that. Now he was capturing something far uglier. He caught it all. Amanda leaning into Nick like no one else in the world existed. His hand sliding down her back. Her fingers tracing invisible shapes across his thigh. That kind of quiet, disgusting intimacy that doesn't come from nostalgia. It comes from something fresh, something alive. They kissed in the hallway, not even 5 minutes after she told me she was visiting her sick father. But what broke me wasn't the kiss. It was the way she smiled after it. That smile used to belong to me, and now she was giving it to him like I never existed. When I pulled into the driveway, Amanda was already outside. She stormed toward my truck, her phone clutched like a weapon. "What the hell was that?" she screamed. "What is your friend doing in my parents' house?" I stepped out slowly, calm in a way that felt unnatural. "You said you were having a quiet dinner with family. Nick isn't family anymore, is he?" Her mouth opened, then shut, then opened again, like a fish caught in the wrong pond. "He's here for Jenna," she said quickly. "They're friends again. I don't control who my sister invites." "Sure. That's why he had his tongue down your throat by the kitchen sink." Her eyes went wide just for a second. Then came the rage. "You had someone spying on me? You're insane." I stared at her. "No, Amanda. I just stopped being blind." She looked around nervously, like she wasn't sure who was listening. You're making a huge deal out of nothing. It was just some wine. I was being friendly. You were being faithless, I snapped. You've been lying to me for months. You've checked out of this marriage, Amanda. And you didn't even have the decency to take your damn ring off first. Her tone changed fast, sharp and cold. You don't get to act like the victim when you're the one stalking me. What? You thought you were going to catch me doing something and play the martyr. I took a breath. You did do something. She rolled her eyes. God, you're so dramatic. It wasn't even a big deal. Nick is easy to talk to. You just don't listen anymore. That was her excuse. After all the lies, all the nights she said she was working late, all the time she turned away from me in bed, all the tears I cried alone while she scrolled through her phone with a smirk, that was her excuse. I didn't say anything. I just turned around and walked back to my truck. As I got in, I saw Frank standing by the window, watching us like a spectator at a circus. And Nick, still inside, still smug, still stealing pieces of the life I had built. But they didn't know the whole storm was just starting. The next morning hit like a hangover, not from alcohol, but from betrayal. I didn't go home that night. Couldn't. I slept in my truck in Zach's driveway, wrapped in a blanket that still smelled like Amanda. Pathetic, I know. But when you've built your entire life around someone, walking away from it feels like amputating your own heart. My phone was dead by sunrise. 22 missed calls. All from Amanda. A few texts too, none apologetic, none explaining anything. Just, call me back. We need to talk. You're acting crazy. Crazy. That word again. That's the word cheaters love to throw when the truth gets cornered. You don't trust me equals you're paranoid. You caught me equals you're crazy. I charged my phone at a diner and scrolled through the videos Zach sent me. I didn't want to watch, but I had to. I needed to see it, to kill any last flicker of doubt. It was all there. Her fingers in Nick's hair, his hand under the table on her thigh, her laugh, real, unfiltered, the kind she never gave me anymore. And worst of all, the way she looked at him. That look wasn't nostalgia. That was possession. That was hers. I sat there with a black coffee in front of me, untouched. My hands clenched around my phone like it was the only thing keeping me upright. A waitress asked if I wanted more sugar. I said no. What I wanted was to disappear. By the time I got home, Amanda was already there, sitting on the porch swing like a woman who hadn't detonated a nuclear bomb under her marriage just 12 hours ago. She stood as I approached. Are you done spying now? I laughed, came out hollow and bitter. Are you done playing house with your ex-husband? Her arms folded, defensive, cold. You completely overreacted. Nick and I had one conversation. That's all. You were touching him like he was yours. He used to be mine, she snapped. And honestly, he actually talks to me like I'm a person, not like I'm a damn to-do list. There it was, the dagger. I'd heard variations of it before, but this time she twisted it with full intent. I gave you everything, I said quietly. I paid the mortgage. I cooked dinner when you stayed out late. I cleaned the house. I planned your birthday parties. I loved you, Amanda. She rolled her eyes like I was boring her. You were convenient, Adam. That's all you ever were. Convenient. Like a damn coffee table. I felt something inside me crack. Not the loud kind of crack. The slow, irreversible kind. The kind that says nothing will ever be the same after this moment. She stepped closer, her voice suddenly sugary and manipulative. We don't have to make this messy. We can just move on. I'll take my things, and we'll file whatever we need to file. I stared at her. This wasn't the woman I married. This wasn't the woman who cried in my arms the night her dog died. This wasn't the woman who once whispered, "Forever," into my ear while we danced barefoot in our kitchen. This was a stranger, and worse, a cruel one. Go pack, I said finally. I'll give you 20 minutes. After that, I'm changing the locks. She raised her eyebrows. You don't think I'll take half of everything, do you? I've got receipts, baby. Don't think you're walking away the saint here. She thought I'd beg. She thought I'd crawl. But I just turned and walked inside. She didn't know it yet, but I'd already filed a separation notice through my lawyer that morning. I'd already sent Zach's footage to a safe drive. I'd already taken the first step into a future without her poison. And I didn't feel broken. Not anymore. It didn't take Amanda long to start flipping the story. By the next day, I started getting texts from mutual friends. Awkward. Hesitant. Hey man, just checking in. Some didn't even bother hiding it. Amanda told us you blew up at her on Thanksgiving. She said you embarrassed her in front of her whole family. She's really upset, man. She didn't mean for any of this. Upset? She wasn't upset when Nick had his hands on her. She wasn't upset when she stood in our driveway, telling me I was just convenient. Now that her castle of lies was collapsing, she was suddenly the victim. Amanda always had that gift, the ability to bend a situation until she looked like the one bleeding. I didn't respond to the messages. I didn't need to. The silence would say more than any explanation. And honestly, I was tired of cleaning up her messes. But that didn't stop her from trying harder. The next night, I got tagged in a post on Facebook. A long, dramatic essay from Amanda, paired with a black and white photo of her looking teary-eyed on the porch. The caption read like a Lifetime movie. When you give someone everything, and they still turn their back on you. Sometimes people don't understand how deep emotional abuse can run. Sometimes love turns into control. Sometimes the strongest thing you can do is walk away. My mouth fell open. I laughed. Actually laughed in disbelief. Emotional abuse? She called me controlling because I caught her cheating? The comments were pouring in already. You're so strong, girl. Men never appreciate a good woman. Proud of you for walking away from toxicity. Toxicity. From the woman who looked me in the eye and lied every night for 6 months. From the woman who was planning her little Thanksgiving affair behind my back. The photo? That was taken after I told her to pack her things. She'd actually asked me, "Can I sit on the swing for a minute before I go?" I didn't know she was posing for a Heartbreak album cover. I slammed my laptop shut and paced the kitchen. Rage building again, but deeper this time. Not from what she did, but from how calculated it all was. She wasn't grieving the end of our marriage. She was performing it. She didn't want peace. She wanted an audience. So I did something I hadn't done in weeks. I called my mom. She picked up on the second ring. "Adam," my throat tightened. "I need you to come by the house." There was silence. Then she said gently, "Is it Amanda?" "It's everything." She showed up within the hour, arms full of groceries and comfort. She hugged me tight like she used to when I was a kid with a busted knee. We sat at the kitchen table and I told her everything. No filters. No pride. And for the first time in a long time, I cried. "I don't know who she is anymore," I whispered. "She's turning people against me. Lying like it's nothing." My mom placed her hand over mine. "She doesn't get to define the truth, honey. The people who matter know who you are." That stuck with me, like a tiny flame in the middle of a storm. Amanda could scream into the internet all she wanted. But I had truth. I had footage. I had years of being a loyal, caring husband. She only had her mask, and eventually mask slip. I knew what was coming next. She'd get nastier. She'd play dirty. But I was done sitting in the ashes of a lie. The mirror was shattered. And I could finally see who she really was. 3 days after Amanda's Facebook monologue went live, I got a letter from her lawyer. No warning. No message. Just a crisp envelope delivered to my mailbox like a declaration of war. Inside, a formal separation notice, not from me, but from her. It claimed I was emotionally volatile, invasive of privacy, and the kicker, potentially unstable due to erratic behavior. She was trying to paint me as the problem, the crazy husband, the controlling one, the abuser. And I realized something right then. Amanda hadn't just been planning the affair. She'd been laying the groundwork to burn me on the way out. All those "you're paranoid" moments, the way she twisted stories with our friends, the sudden refusal to go to couples therapy when I suggested it. She was preparing for this. I sat there at my dining table, the one we picked out together, the one where she once sat cross-legged in a sweatshirt, laughing over wine, and read every word of that letter like it was a script from a soap opera. The part that really stung? She requested spousal support. That's right. After cheating, after lying, after publicly humiliating me, she wanted me to pay for her lifestyle. I didn't even get angry this time. I just sat there, stunned, and thought, she really thinks I'm weak. So I got to work. First thing I did was meet with my own attorney, a friend of my uncle's named Carla Hendricks, sharp as a blade and twice as dangerous. When she finished reading Amanda's letter, she leaned back and smirked. She's bluffing, Carla said, but she's bold. If we don't counter this smart, she'll bleed you in court. I've got footage, I told her. Video proof of her with her ex kissing, touching, all of it. Her eyes lit up like Christmas morning. Oh, sweetheart, she messed with the wrong man. From there, everything became strategy. We documented everything. Texts, calls, messages from mutual friends admitting Amanda had bent the truth. Carla drafted a countersuit faster than I thought possible, and I made damn sure we stayed one step ahead. But Amanda, she didn't slow down. She began spreading rumors, claimed I had anger issues, that I'd once thrown a glass at the wall during a fight, that I'd screamed in her face. None of it was true, not even close. But she was a good storyteller, I'll give her that. Her real talent wasn't lying. It was acting like she believed the lie. Meanwhile, I stayed quiet. I didn't clap back on social media. I didn't text her anything she could twist. I let her dig the hole herself. And she did. Deeper and deeper. Until one night, Zach called me. You should see this, he said. He sent me a video, taken by a friend of his who happened to be at a bar downtown. Amanda, drunk, hanging on Nick's lap, laughing loud, kissing him like we were divorced already. That was fine. What wasn't fine? She was telling everyone at the bar I used to hit her. That night, I made my decision. No more playing nice. No more second-guessing. Amanda wanted a war? She was getting one. But not the screaming, chaotic kind. No, I was going to destroy her with silence, with facts, and with the cold edge of truth. She underestimated me. She thought heartbreak made me weak. She forgot that betrayal sharpens a man. The most dangerous man is the one who stops shouting. By the time Amanda had fully painted me as some unstable monster, I'd stopped reacting. No angry texts, no emotional outbursts, just calm, careful moves, the kind that look harmless on the surface but are lethal when they land. I kept telling myself one thing. She thinks she's winning. Let her think that. And she did. Amanda floated through the weeks like some delusional diva, shopping with Nick, posting cryptic quotes on Instagram about healing from toxic masculinity, and spreading her false little fairy tale to anyone gullible enough to listen. But what she didn't know, I had already passed everything to my lawyer, and I mean everything. Zach's videos, screenshots of her messages, GPS records showing she'd lied about her whereabouts more times than I could count. And that bar clip? Pure gold. Her telling strangers I used to hit her, while clinging to her ex like a drunk prom queen. All caught on video, face clear as day. Carla called it a gift. She just torched her own credibility, she said, grinning. The judge is going to see right through her. We filed our counterclaim within the week. Adultery, defamation, request to deny spousal support, request for damages. Amanda didn't see it coming. She thought I'd roll over, or better, that I'd spiral into some jealous rage she could use against me in court. But instead, I was ice. And I stayed quiet because when a liar doesn't hear noise, they start to panic. Sure enough, a few days later, I got a text. Amanda, I don't understand what you're doing. You're not even trying to fix this. Fix what exactly? The marriage she burned? The trust she fed through a shredder? I didn't answer. She followed it up the next day. I miss how we used to be. I think we both made mistakes. That line. Classic Amanda. We both. Her favorite trick to split blame, even when she's the one holding the knife. I still didn't reply. And then came the Hail Mary. She showed up at my house. Unannounced. No warning. Just standing on the porch in a beige coat. Sunglasses hiding whatever pity party she was rehearsing behind them. I opened the door just far enough to remind her she didn't belong there anymore. "I just wanted to talk," she said softly. I said nothing. She took off the glasses. Fake tears already brewing. "I made some bad choices, okay? But you weren't perfect either, Adam." I tilted my head. "You slept with your ex-husband, Amanda." Her voice cracked right on cue. "I was lonely. You were distant. You stopped looking at me like I mattered." There it was again, her feelings, her loneliness, her excuses. Never mind the betrayal. Never mind the months of lying to my face. She reached out, her fingers brushing my wrist. "We could just stop this. We don't have to ruin each other." I leaned in, calm and even. "You already did that. I'm just making sure you don't walk away with the matchbook and a smile." And then, with absolute control, I handed her the manila envelope Carla prepared. Her face dropped as she opened it. Her lies, her bar video, the GPS data, the defamation countersuit. Her tears dried up fast. "You're not serious," she whispered. "I've never been more serious in my life." She stood there stunned, like a puppet whose strings had just been cut. And I shut the door. Not with hate, not with satisfaction, with closure. Because this wasn't revenge. This was justice. And Amanda had finally stepped into the truth, whether she liked it or not. Courtrooms have a strange silence, like even the walls are waiting for the truth to surface. The day of the hearing, I stood outside the courthouse in a suit that didn't quite fit right anymore. I'd lost weight, stress will do that to you, but I felt stronger, clearer, like a man who'd finally clawed his way out of someone else's illusion. Zach met me on the steps. "You ready?" I nodded. "I've been ready." Amanda walked in 20 minutes late, of course, with Nick trailing behind her like a lost puppy. She wore black like it was a funeral, complete with crocodile tears and that trademark expression. Helpless but proud, like the world should pity her and admire her all at once. She didn't even look at me as she passed, just tightened her coat and whispered something to her lawyer. A smug woman in red heels who looked like she'd coached clients through worse lies than Amanda's. But today, Amanda wasn't on a stage. Today, she was under oath. The judge was no nonsense. Silver hair, sharp tone, and eyes that could slice through spin. He skimmed the case files with the speed of someone who's seen every excuse 1,000 times before. Amanda's lawyer opened with a dramatic appeal, emotional distress, years of controlling behavior, a power imbalance in the marriage. She made me sound like a monster in a necktie. But then came Carla. Calm. Surgical. She started with the video of Thanksgiving. No build-up. Just straight to the moment Amanda kissed Nick by the kitchen sink while claiming she was helping her dad recover. The courtroom was silent. Amanda went pale. Next came the bar footage. Her drunk voice slurring lies about me, getting physical, while laughing in Nick's lap like it was spring break. Amanda's lawyer tried to object, hearsay, context, timing. But the judge just raised one brow. "She said it, didn't she? Doesn't seem blurry to me." Then Carla laid out the GPS logs. The week Amanda told me she was on a solo work retreat in Napa. She was actually in Santa Cruz, at a beach house rented in Nick's name. The judge leaned forward. "Did you, or did you not, spend a weekend with your ex-husband while married to Mr. Walker?" Amanda squirmed. "We were just reconnecting. It wasn't romantic." "Ms. Carter, we have footage of you straddling him in public." Silence. Amanda's confidence was collapsing, and I saw it happen. The way her mouth twitched, the way she looked around like someone might come save her. But no one did, because when the truth walks in, lies scatter like cockroaches. When it was my turn to speak, I didn't monologue. I didn't grandstand. I just told the truth. "I trusted her," I said. "I built a life around her, and she set it on fire, then tried to make me feel like I'd handed her the match. That was all." The judge didn't need more. He ruled in my favor on every point. No spousal support, evidence of infidelity accepted, defamation charge formally opened. Amanda didn't just lose the case. She lost the image she tried so hard to build. As we walked out, she finally looked at me. There wasn't anger in her eyes. Not hatred, just fear. Because the one thing a manipulator can't handle is accountability. And I'd handed it to her, wrapped in evidence. Tied with silence. It was over. Not just legally, spiritually, emotionally. That invisible thread that had once tied me to Amanda, through love, trust, and hope, had finally snapped. And not with a loud dramatic pop. No, it dissolved quietly, like dust caught in sunlight. A week after the court ruling, I changed the locks, packed up the last of her things. The hallway felt different without her heels clicking against the floor. The closet finally had space to breathe. And the bed, empty, didn't feel lonely anymore. Felt like mine again. Freedom isn't fireworks. It's quiet. Simple. I felt it the morning I made coffee and didn't check my phone, wondering what lie might be waiting. I felt it in the silence that used to feel heavy, now soft and calm. Amanda had moved in with Nick, no surprise. Last I heard, they were already having issues. She'd posted a cryptic quote about repeating cycles and emotional maturity. The irony nearly made me laugh. I didn't respond to the rumors, didn't feed into the drama. That chapter was finished, burned, and buried. Zach swung by one afternoon with a six-pack and no agenda. We sat in the backyard just talking about life, not war. At one point, he looked at me and said, "Man, you're different now." I nodded. Yeah, I think I finally like myself again. Because that's the part nobody talks about when you survive betrayal. It doesn't just shatter your view of the other person. It makes you question you, your worth, your instincts, your sanity. You start to wonder if maybe you were the problem all along. But the truth? Amanda didn't cheat because I lacked something. She cheated because she did. Her loyalty was paper thin. Her honesty was theater. And her love? Conditional, always waiting to be traded up the moment things stopped serving her. But that's her burden now, not mine. Mine is healing, rebuilding, and maybe one day trusting again. For now, I'm okay alone. I've started jogging again. I picked up woodworking, something Amanda used to mock me for because it was too middle-aged. I made a coffee table last week with my own hands. Not because I needed one, but because I wanted one. That's the kind of peace I forgot existed. Last night, I found our wedding album. I almost threw it out, but I didn't. I looked through the pictures. I saw a version of Amanda I once loved. I saw a version of me that truly believed in forever. I didn't feel rage or sadness, just distance, like watching a dream I once had drift away into the horizon. There's power in that, in seeing the storm pass and realizing you're still standing. Not broken, just changed. I've learned that love is never meant to be a battlefield. It's not supposed to be a competition or a test or a performance. It's supposed to be a place you can rest, not one you have to survive. Amanda was a lesson, painful, costly one, but I paid in full, and I walked out clean. So if you're reading this and going through something similar, let me say this: don't ignore your gut. Don't apologize for demanding honesty. And don't mistake manipulation for love. You're not crazy. You're not too much. You're just waking up. And when you finally walk through that final door, the one that leads back to yourself, I promise you, there's peace on the other side. Real peace. The kind no one can take from you. Not even her.